everyone, and welcome back to another D-Day Dice expansion review. Today we're taking a look at War Stories, one of the main expansions for D-Day Dice 2nd edition. And I want to start and right away tell you that this is a review from a solitaire perspective. If you're looking for a detailed unboxing, this is not going to be it, but I have one of those, so check the playlist. There is a detailed unboxing. There is also a playthrough of the main module of the game, which is the War Stories. Okay, let's take a look at this game. So besides, this game has 5 modules. That's a lot of modules. But beside the modules, it has some great new general components. And the best thing we get is these 6 new battle maps. So we get battle map number 25, which is Mission Albany. Battle map number 26, which is Mission Boston. We get battle map number 27, which is Mission Chicago. And if we turn them around, we also get, let's see, battle map number 28, Mission Detroit. Battle map number 29, Operation Tonga. And last but not least, battle map number 30, Merville Battery. Most of these battle maps are airborne or paratrooper themed. So you also get these for supply drop dice, and I think they are just a great addition to the game. Basically, you're gonna have some supply drops. For example, here you have 1 supply drop, and you roll your dice and you get some supplies. In this case, you would get 2 stars. So some great new components, and these are also, as you can see, the last scenarios of this game, because we have 30 scenarios totally. And Merville Battery is scenario number 30. So this is the last scenario, and you can see we have some complicated stuff going on here. A lot of stuff going on. And as you know, the scenarios tend to get more advanced the later in the scenario list as we get. Of course, we also get a new scenario book, which tells us how to play these scenarios and the special sectors and so on. Just like we do in all of the games. We get a great new addition for solo players. We get the Lieutenant solo play card. This is really good. I like to play with the Lieutenant, so using this card is just a treat in solitaire game. We get 2 new awards. The awards we get are, let's see if I can get my camera to focus. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce that one, but these are the ones we get. Order of the Bath. So this one is, it's going to be used with the servicemen. Okay, so this one is going to be the general one. And this is going to be used with the supply dice, obviously, that I just shown you guys. And we get some new cool specialists to play around with, and we get some for each and every nation in the game, even the expansions. So let's look at the American ones, which I like to play with. And it's the Paratrooper and the Pathfinder. So you can see the Pathfinder is just like the Beachmaster. You gain 1 soldier every time you move, but the Beachmaster is 1 soldier every time you advance. So this one is a little bit more powerful than the Beachmaster. And I actually like to use the Beachmaster. So this is going to be a specialist I am going to like to recruit. And that's a reserve specialist, and the other guy, the Paratrooper, is a regular specialist. We also, of course, get a rule book, and some nice things on this rule book is that we get a lot of new optional rules. So 1 full page with optional rules, which we can use with D-Day Dice main game, and any game of D-Day Dice really. So that's the general components. Let's have a look at the new modules. So the main module is War Stories, and like I said, I've done a playthrough video of this module if you wonder how it works. We got a bunch of tokens, I think 84 tokens, which are used in some of the scenarios, and we also get the Eager Officer, which is also used in one of the scenarios, for each and every nation. should also be a Polish there. I think I got him in another stack. And we have our war stories, of course. And the war stories are just basically they're scenarios which you can use to add some depth to your games. And you can see there are some. I haven't figured out the meaning of this corner symbol, but basically I think it's different themed scenarios. The one I'm playing in the playthrough video is Saving Private Brian. And as you see here, place one random soldier token in a random sector on the next to last row. This is Private Brian crying for help, and he must be picked up. The unit that does gain one soldier result of Brian's color in his final tally every turn. However, an active skull in that unit's final tally kills Private Brian. All units need one less courage to advance in the final bunker as long as Brian is alive. If he dies, all units need 2 more courage to enter the final bunker. So basically these cards, they just add some additional rules to the games, and I think it's a great way to play D-Day dice if you kinda grown tired of playing the maps as they originally are. So they add some cool things, and I mean you could shuffle them and just draw one randomly, or you could play through all of them. That's usually how I like to do it, having the goal of beating every scenario. And like I said, we have 30 scenarios here, so beating all of them is gonna take some time, and this is just one module out of 5. So again, this expansion brings us a lot of new content. I get the question often, which expansions do you recommend? And from a solo perspective, I would say that Way to Hell and War Stories are the first expansions that you are gonna get, because there's so much more new content. The second module we get is Legendary Units, and I have to say this is just awesome. We have a bunch of legendary units. We get to choose one, or we could again just randomly draw one. And first of all, we get an RWB card, which is going to replace our RWBs from our nation cards. For example, here I have the Polish one. I would simply put this one over my original RWBs and use these RWBs instead of those. So let's take an example. We have Airborne Division here, which is one of the legendary units. You get the RWBs, but then you will also get 2 legendary specialists for that legendary force, and you will get 3 legendary items. So these legendary units, they do make the game easier, and if you read the rules, starting with legendary units, you are gonna get less victory points. So even though it makes the game easier, it's still gonna make it harder to get a good positive score in the game. So I like the way they designed that. It's very good. And also I do like, I've said it a few times, I do like some things that makes it easier, because some maps are just so hard in Solitaire. Anyway, let's take a look at now the 101st Airborne Division. So again, you get this RWB, and you can see that it differs quite greatly from the original nations. For example, fresh troops here gain a number of soldiers equal to 2 plus 1d6. The reinforcements is pretty much the same as all nations. So we have some new RWBs. I think it's cool, mix it up. And then we have our specialists. We have 2 specialists for each legendary unit. Here we have the Major and the Screaming Eagle. You might notice this symbol here, and what that means is that you can choose to not take the resources from the starting sector and instead start with this guy. And every legendary unit has one of these guys that let you start with them on your hand, and this one is very powerful, the Screaming Eagle. If there is at least 1 medal in your final tally, gain 1 star. So that's really cool. I mean, that doubles up what I get from that medal. If I have 2 medals, that's gonna give me 2 medals, 2 stars. And the Major is cool as well. He doesn't start in your hand, but you are allowed to recruit him later on in the game. And then we have some nice new items, and I mean they work just like the other items. There's nothing special, it's just a fun twist to the game, but they are quite good. I mean, for example, pocket knife, add 1 wrench to your final tally, 3 item points. I think that's quite a good card actually. Also, we get for our legendary units 1 award. Soldier's Medal, rally 1 legendary specialist for free from a legendary unit currently not in play. So that's quite an interesting award, I gotta say. So anyway, like I said, you have a bunch of these legendary units. And again, if you want to see all of the cards, go to my unboxing video, where I actually go through each and every individual card in this expansion. But you can see here there's a great range of different legendary units, and I highly recommend using these because it's a lot of fun. Okay, let's get this out of the way and let's take a look at module number 3. So module number 3 is servicemen. And basically how these work, I think it's quite cool. You see these wrenches here, and the way they work is you mix these up, you shuffle them before you start playing, and then whenever you roll a special find RWB, which is indicated on the back of the cards, you can choose that instead of using that special find RWB, you can choose to rally a serviceman. And then, for example, you rally Private Kenneth William Warren, and you have 2 pre-rolled dice, and these you can sacrifice this guy in stage or phase 1, and these dice will be added to your final tally. Some of them also has, I've noted, the explosive icon, so then you could sacrifice him and use him for bunkers that require, for example, explosives. So I think these guys, again, they make the game a little bit easier. I think they add some great depth to the game, some great choice, and that's really something people have. I've heard some people say, oh, D-Day Dice plays itself, you're just throwing dice. But with all of these modules, for example, the servicemen, you get some interesting choice and adds a lot of strategy to the game and can really help you out on those harder scenarios. And I like again how they make the RWB here, special find, quite interesting, because that's an RWB that I very rarely use, but with the serviceman it actually becomes a useful RWB, which makes you happy to achieve it. And if you watch my previous video, which was Atlantic Val review, you know that you had the badges, and the badges works the same like servicemen. You get the badges when you roll a Warcry RWB, and instead of taking a bonus from that, you can choose to draw a random badge, and then you can sacrifice the badge, discard it to gain the bonus from the badge in phase 1, just like servicemen. Although these servicemen, they do represent individual soldier in your squads. You can see here they all have, for example, the beach master and so on. So in stages where you, for example, would have to sacrifice a sergeant, you can sacrifice this serviceman instead. Oops. Also, you get a award with this. I showed you before, Order of the Bath. Draw the award of your choice from the deck, or the used pile, or draw 2 servicemen of your choice. So that's quite neat award. So that's module number 3 of 5 modules, and we are going to go ahead and take a look at module number 4, which is Last Man Standing. And I gotta say, I don't really get this add-on, because it's quite strange. Last Man Standing is what it sounds like. You're playing D-Day dice, but instead of gaining soldiers, you're losing soldiers. So you start with a specific amount depending on the map of soldiers, and then you will lose soldiers and try to survive all the way to the end. We can see in the rules here that the starting soldiers, we're gonna start with bonus soldiers, change from map to map. Also, when playing solitaire on Gold Beach, you might want to add 5 soldiers. That's a hard map. But we also see that this can only be played with D-Day dice the original game and War Stories battle map, so it looks like it's not going to be possible to play this one with the other maps from, for example, Atlantic Val and so on. What's it called? Way to Hell. Of course, I mean, you can just make up your own starting soldiers, and I'm sure that you can find something on the forums online, suggestions, how many soldiers you should start with. So also with the landman, you have RWB cards, and basically the RWBs are going to not work the same way since you're actually losing soldiers instead of gaining soldiers. So this is the way they work. And again, you just use them like on your nation card, just place them out like that. And that is Last Man Standing. I haven't played it much. It kind of feels like playing Atlantic Val, I gotta say, because that works similar. So not I think an essential module, but something that could be fun playing around with if you have played everything else. And that leads us to module number 5, which is a new playable nation, Poland. Comes with a nation card, a new set of RWB dice, and a unit marker die. We get all of the specialists, but with the Polish nation, obviously. And we get a Polish resource card. Not much to say about this. It's just basically a new nation. I don't see, you can see it's a little bit different to the US, for example, which I usually use in my playthrough videos. I gotta say, it doesn't add too much, but the Polish did do a lot of good in World War II. They sent commandos at D-Day from England and so on. So perhaps there is a scenario where the Polish were actually present, and you might want to use this nation instead of, for example, the US, if you want to have a more historical correct game. Anyway, I like it because I think it's cool with the new nations. And anyway, Poland, the playable nation, is the last module of War Stories expansion. And again, people keep asking me which expansions do you recommend me to get. And I gotta say, if you're looking to play Solitaire, this expansion and Way to Hell are gonna be your first best expansions to get. Then if you have them and play, you might want to get the mini expansions for those, or you might want to get the other big box expansions. But I'm going to get to those later. I'm doing review videos of all the expansions, so stay tuned to my channel. I'm going to show off those expansions as well. Again, I do have a playthrough video of the main module, and I will also make playthrough videos of the other modules, like for example legendary units and Last Man Standing as well. So stay tuned to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, you might as well hit the like button. Send me a comment telling me what you think I can do better or what I did good. And otherwise, just thank you for watching, stay safe, and see you next time.